What's up, guys? Brian here, and today we're doing something I haven't done yet on this channel, and it's player feedback. It's where I dive into your comments on some of the most popular videos that we have here on the channel. Now, today is focusing in on the dev update from June. The developers just recently released their dev blog in which they talk about what is coming for July. Personally speaking, I'm very looking forward, very excited about the July update. But this is, guys, what you had to say. And yeah, if you guys like these videos, be sure to like and subscribe, especially if you like New World content in your feed. That is what this channel is all about. Now, Josh says, finally, an update that gives me hope. Can't wait to see the patch notes. And I echo this, absolutely. Namely because when you look at what July starts to bring in, and when I say July, I'm assuming later July, it seems to have a little bit more focus in on casual-ish content. And not that the whole thing has to be casual, and I know that term sometimes ignites this casual versus hardcore, but when I look at casual and hardcore, I see kind of a symbiosis within this piece of content. I look at what kind of updates that we've gotten this year, and if you try to categorize them two ways, I'd say the year so far is leaning more on the hardcore content, PvP being more hardcore content. The PvP reward track, obviously leaning to people and those who like that. The mutators, more hardcore content, and you need both. You need hardcore content to really kind of invite players to challenge themselves and maybe step out of their shells, but you need a comfort level, a way that people can kind of ease themselves into the game and give them plenty of things to do. And so saying all that, first and foremost, gives me a lot of hope. The salvaging system updates alone have me excited, and I can't wait to see and go hands-on with that. But obviously we're going to get a new dungeon, and the group finder is going to be something I think is going to help us, a lot of us out, a lot of times. The removal of keys, while there's not always going to be 100% positive or negative on any of these changes, I wish they kept keys. They talked about keeping keys and having them act as kind of additional rewards that could come into play, but it looks like they're just getting rid of them altogether, which ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's going to matter in the long run. But for those of you who grinded up your keys to get higher levels and have that as an aspect, that is frustrating. I always thought they should just make them tradable. Let people grind up keys and go from there. Now, what's going to be really interesting to see is that with these changes, are there going to be kind of frustrations when you start hitting that daily limiter wall in terms of the content? Because then essentially you have a system that's then people want to play your game, want to experience these things, and then you start to limit that enjoyment. And so you got to offer other things that are going to take part in that. But it's going to be a real challenge for them going forward and to kind of balance those things out. Now, Gene says, nice to see someone actually give this game some positivity. Everybody is dogging this game, saying that it's dead and the devs should give up. But it's refreshing to see the devs give a damn, and that someone in their creator space seeing that they generally gets me excited to play the game again. And then Isaac follows up. He single-handedly is the reason why I jumped back in and started playing. Awesome to hear that. I'd like, and just so everybody's on the same page, because we're not always going to agree on games. And if you hate New World, but yet you still watch my videos, I'd love to know why. But on that topic itself, is that I see New World as this mountain of potential. I look at potential, and I probably weigh it too heavy, but I look at it and I have a high value driven in terms of what I consider potential content, the potential for this game to evolve and to grow. And it's a part of me as the software engineer, and also like someone who studied game development, who loves video games. I enjoy seeing that process evolve. I enjoy seeing how where a game starts at and where it evolves. And I think that's some of the things that I find unique about the MMORPG genre as genre. Like, it's something that it's like, when you look at it, yes, people will launch private classic servers set in a specific era, but at the end of the day, like, you don't see those ever becoming the be all end all that you wish that they could be. And it's because I think MMOs require change, and we want to see change. We want to have an impact on that change. And that's something that I think is truly fascinating. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying the videos and the content. And note that it's not that it's positivity for positivity's sake. We could talk about the issues that New World legitimately has. And I think it's, when I say content is king, I mean it. Like, content is king, and you see that with the March, April, how that drove people back into the game, and then late April, June, you're gonna see continual dropping numbers, because they're for people who aren't into hardcore PvP or wanting to PvP reward track grind, what really came in the course of the last month or two for them? And the answer is really not much. And if you've already grinded up and you got your gear, and even if you don't, like maybe you're not necessarily feeling like there's any reason to go get challenged, you don't want to have to sit here and spend all your time doing these certain things. And that's where I think July is going to end up being kind of a better building block, but that's going to lead into the fall, which I think is going to be a better build. Blah, 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 blah. Don't know. I'm stuttering. I stutter and I say things wrong. And it's actually kept me off of YouTube for a long time until I finally got over that fear. Anyway, yeah, I hit those. I'm going to like these. Boom, boom. You should like this video. It helps out the algorithm immensely. Tally says, the fact that they are going to put a group finder and remove keys will get me back into the game. Time constraints of getting a group together and have a key made things more difficult. Let's talk about the group finder. It is not match made, which I think is actually really important because from a content design perspective, that's going to give people the ability, that's going to give the devs the ability to make things that are going to be challenging and unique. And that's what I think the dungeons actually currently do. They offer that. The flip side is that if you're looking for just like you want to log in, you want to just jump in and play, you're not going to find that. And I know as somebody who uses like those systems in other games, like they're very easy to get in, but I think what I would call kind of an attachment rate, like it feels like shallow content as opposed to like the dungeons currently in this game do feel really good. But then of course I'm also not running them over and over and over again to the point where it's just, you know, like, all right, like why are we really doing this mechanic? And I think that's where, you know, variety is the spice of life. That I think the group finder is going to work out really well for Brian, because instead of having to spam chat, because I don't like to spam chat, I always want to list something. And especially from a content creator perspective, I could say, hey, party finder's up, jump on in and let's go do this piece of content. It just makes it easier for me to manage. And I think that in and of itself is going to mean more content, more dungeons in my future. And also while I'm running around, whether I'm streaming or not, like I can kind of see what's there and jump into something that I feel like I have the ability to. But at the same time, I don't want to sit here and spam chat. I just don't. I do like seeing chat go off, like in the talking. But if you look at the recruitment chat, that's something that I tend to actually mute because it ends up being like, hey, looking for this, looking for this, looking for this. And this will, I think, help kind of ease that up. And as they add in more content, having a group finder is actually kind of a must. I said that a while back. Sir Mage Main with a $10 super chat. Thank you guys so much. I can't thank you guys enough. Y'all's support just even here in watching these videos means the world to me. It says, hey man, you should never apologize for being excited about an update. I always kind of like, God, I love games so much. Like they mean the world to me, and they've helped me overcome so many like issues, like it being dyslexic, being able to like use games to like have that passion to go and learn to read. And I get that I it's a little much. And one of the reasons why Julie encourages me to do these things is because I kind of get it off my chest. I get it off my system, but I don't know. I just want to let anybody coming into the video know what they're about to step into. And yeah, so it's like, I think I will let people know when I'm feeling like immediately electric when it comes down to it. They watched the dev update and it's incredibly encouraging. I do wonder, I know that the 3v3 with the devs, probing some of the questions, and you're in touch with them, and to the extent maybe they would likely see, looks like that for some reason is getting cut off. There it goes. Likely see. Bruto lost it. Likely see a video one-on-one discussion with you and the devs. Would that be difficult to set up? It'd be about the game as a whole. Really dig it into with them. It'd be really cool to see that. Think of that of Eon and Preach, Asmon and the Eon discussions, and you champion of the game, and I think it'd be a win-win for both you and them. I'd love to do sit down with the devs and kind of really talk and hash it out. But the problem I end up seeing that is like when we start talking about marketing and the purpose of it, like if they're only interested in kind of talking about a key chunk of marketing, I'll sit down and talk with them about it, but I don't think you guys end up getting what the best version of that is. Now, I think from a representation as a controller player, as a parent, as somebody who's got like, I don't want to sit here and tell you guys like, yeah, of course you can enjoy New World, just quit your job, become a streamer, and that's going to be how you do it. Like, I feel like I represent like the working class. I don't know if I like that term. Us regular Joes are, where we got jobs and families and responsibilities and things like that. And I'm still able to enjoy New World. And I really do I find it such to be this great relaxing experience. And at the same time, if I want to get sweaty, I have that opportunity available. But yeah, I'm always open to it. There's a confidence level that I struggle with because it's like I was really nervous doing the 3v3. And then it's like, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh yeah, you know, you guys should do absolutely this, that, and the other thing. I'm just going to keep giving my feedback. I'm going to keep trying to advocate for the things the game does right. I want to continue to, you know, keep you guys up to date on the state of the game, because, you know, like it isn't perfect, but if you're an MMO player like that, nothing about what is going on with New World right now should feel surprising. It just feels kind of like, I don't know why I feel like I'm maybe the only one who sees the world this way, but maybe I'm just crazy. Game Zone Reaction says, with every change that people view as positive, there's an equal but opposite negative reaction effect that occur. For example, all the time and effort put into obtaining keys is now vanquished for anyone who has just walked in. That may have a positive effect of bringing some people back to that don't like keys, but it has an equally negative effect for people who've just found that they've wasted months of their life doing something that's now obsolete. Another example would be changing of the perks. People spend tons of time and gold obtaining the upgrades for their so-called perfect BIS, only to have a new tweaked and morphed into a huge loss of time, energy, and interest in the game. If they keep chipping away at every aspect, then eventually they'll have no one left to pull the rug from under. I don't know, like it's great. This is a great point of view, right? Namely because this happens in every MMO. Like, they aren't static experiences, where even in a static experience game, you could still see now some updates kind of being, you know, applied. But ultimately, everybody has a favorite Pokemon. Everybody's got a favorite thing. Everybody's put in time, and maybe they enjoy that key making aspect. And that's why I wish the key making aspect stuck around, because then those keys could have value and continue to kind of do the things that we want them to do in the long run. But I don't like at its core, it's such a hard call. So I'm with you, like, on the investment. I think that they need to have something where that shifts into, from both a market perspective, but also like, hey, yeah, this is the reason why you want to invest that time into it now. And the risk and the fear for me with New World is that ultimately they end up listening to just the voices that strip away its uniqueness, right? Like, I don't want a WoW clone that is just, you know, less content than WoW. I don't want a Final Fantasy 14 clone, which that's already a WoW clone, that is less content than those things. I want New World to be unique, and one of the things I think is unique is the economy, is the open world, and that's why I talked about how I want to see them bring in bonus experience on open world kills. So the longer things are alive, the more experience they give you. And then at the same time, give a reason that experience means something at level 60. And if they can do that, I think you're going to see me probably play too much New World, and maybe it's probably better for my social balance and life balance, and not, you know, getting lost in a game completely, that they don't do that. But I think overall for players, having that ability to grind experience, and then you bring in and you bring back the like kind of the portals, and you start making those have some kind of value. Like, there's such this beautiful thing when you look at dungeons and you look at things, especially while you're waiting to do and get into a group, and you got your party listing and you're running around the open world and you're killing monsters, and that has some kind of value. And, you know, all of a sudden it's like you have this very holistic view of the game and the world. Smokey J says, I'm interested to see if they would ever offer name change tokens. Mine needs to be changed, LOL. Give everyone one free one that makes it like $2.99 or something every time at that. Yeah, they need to absolutely add that as a service. The question ends up coming down to price. I'm sure that if they ended up pricing it, it would be ridiculous. Namely, it always feels like it is, because like $2.99, $3 for a name change seems accurate. But like when it comes down to companies, I always see them kind of like overcharge things. But I've even seen people go back and forth that the price of transfer tokens is too low, and they need to increase it to kind of discourage some of this crazy activity that happens from time to time. It's good to try to remain positive, but too much negativity, especially among the more hardcore Western gaming nerdom. I don't know. Like, I think that there's got to be a balance, because I think, you know, somebody could be over positive, over hyped, and not look at it like objectively speaking. And I feel like I'm typically objective, because I continue to say, if the New World devs continue to invest in New World, the game's going to do fine. The question is that will they? And we don't know, because they don't have a track record that shows one way or the other what they will or won't do. So I'm hoping that they'll continue to invest in it. I think that's important for the overall health of the game. But it's going to be a time will tell kind of factor. So time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. OPR is just not fair. Someone who's coming in at 500 guild score, just going up against someone with 625 is a no-win every time. That's definitely something that they need to work on for sure, because when you look at those numbers and it's that perceived notion that you're kind of behind. And so if a player is going to start today and they're going to feel like it's going to be impossible for them to catch up, that's a problem. And I think when it comes down to it, you only really feel that obviously in PvP, because in PvE, y'all are all working towards the same objective. And so I think what will ultimately be the case is that if they do open up to cross world matching, I see that you could end up seeing a lot more kind of balance in that regards. There is some normalization in when it comes down to gear, but overall, the more and more people I talk to do feel like obviously a higher gear score player, because they also have more stats and more everything. Like they do have the added advantage. And there is an argument and a value that I say that, yeah, they should have some level of advantage, because it is an RPG and they have put that time into grind. And so if they can bring in and have a wider player pool, especially with cross region for OPR and arena, then all of a sudden you can start having it really kind of try to focus in on gear score ranges, which will make it even out and feel less intense. So you're not like starting at, oh, I'm a gear score 500 and you're just getting wrecked over and over and over again, because then it's asking a lot of the individual who does that. Now, I think, yeah, we got time for one more comment for this video. Tracy says, I played at launch a couple of months and ended up quitting for frustration with the bugs and whatnot. I just decided to give it a go again last night. Seems like they are on track to getting things fixed slowly. Would be awesome if this game gets revived. And the only way that this game gets revived is continually push out content and communicate. I still think and hold that an expansion ends up communicating a massive amount of commitment from the team. Now, I think that if you announce an expansion, you immediately, or at least right after the expansion, announce another expansion. Hey guys, really glad you enjoyed this expansion. By the way, we're already at work on our next expansion. Because as a content creator, as you guys come and ask me, is it time to return? Should you return? It's nice that I have the roadmap to kind of point to and tell you like, well, this is their plan, how they're going to go forward with it. But, like if they sit here and said, hey, an expansion, I was like, hey guys, an expansion is coming. And then even after the expansion dropped, if I was able to say, and guys, yeah, like, cause if you were like, should I return? Is it too late? Etc. It's like, guys, they're also working towards another expansion. And Amazon has said they've committed to this game for 10 years. The question is that do we believe them? And the majority of people don't, because they don't have a track record. So trust is going to be critical. Content is critical. But the game is freaking amazing. Like, it feels good to play. I love when we get to stream it together. And while I don't know if I stated this at the start of this video, I'm on YouTube vacation this week. So note that this will be my last video probably. It depends if I record any more before I go on vacation. So you'll see some more video. Maybe you'll see another video for me. You'll see some over on Prime that are scheduled. And I'm going to try to get some other stuff scheduled for Ginger JRPG. But yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for the comments. Be sure to like these videos, as they are going to be a way of kind of picking out what videos I want to do these player feedbacks with. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my thoughts and continued discussion. That's what it's about. Video games are meant to be talked about, and I love when you guys share your thoughts with me, even if we don't agree. A lot of this seemed to be positive, and I'm sure I'll probably find maybe another video that won't be so positive, and maybe that will act as a kind of a good counterbalance to the discussion. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for your time. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with a clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.